survivor. He had been through a lot. His mother was gone, pops on drugs, and his brother was a victim to gun violence when he had just turned 17. His whole life was a struggle. He had to fight to survive, just to keep his head above water. Every day was a grind to avoid the evils that were all around him. He had so many close calls, he couldn't even keep count anymore. And after every friend that was lost, or every case that he was able to beat, he would always bow his head and thank God, and promise that this was the last time. But the reality was, he was in too deep. And with 2 kids, he couldn't afford to be broke. But the light at the end of the tunnel seemed to be moving further and further away. And any given day could have been his last. Leaving his 2 children without a father wasn't an option. But not knowing where your next meal was coming from was a whole different kind of pain. One that he knew all too well. And on a night like any other night, Will went out to make a sale. But something was different. Something told him to stop. He just had a feeling, and he turned back. And as he was walking towards his building, he saw a van with no rims on it that looked like the type that was driven by undercovers. And as he ducked behind a corner, he watched as one of the youngins in his neighborhood sold to one of the dudes that hopped out the van. And not even 2 minutes after, he saw the same young guy getting handcuffed and thrown into the back of that same van. How many times did he have to see it before he got the message? How close did he have to come? And he decided that this time was it. That he would turn legit and leave the life behind him for good. And he threw away the rocks he had in his pocket and went upstairs and looked this girl in the eyes and promised her that he would change and that he would do whatever it took, but he wasn't going back. He knew he had way too much to live for. He wanted to see his children grow up. He had to.